It's camera action. Hello again, guys. Thank you for tuning in with us. Just wanted to welcome you guys to the Thursday night Recovery Warrior Talk. I would like to start this one with a silent prayer for those who still suffer. So if you will take a minute and do that with me, please. All right. This evening we have our special guest is Christy Bruguier. So thankful that you can come and be here with us. Good to meet you. What else do I want to say? What do you want me? Do you want to just start out?
Okay. We'll go ahead and if you want to run through your thank yous.
I'm not doing that until later.
Oh, you don't want to do that till later? Oh,
Yeah,
by the way, this is Derek. Hi, guys. Sorry, Zena. We'll go ahead and switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So should I just start?
Yes. Okay. So I'm sorry. We just got a little bit distracted. I'm going to run through my notes after we get to hear Christy's story and stuff. So just wanted to welcome her to the show. And Christy, if you can share anything you like or from darkness to light, your story and what you would like to share with us.
Okay. I guess I grew up here on the res in Ravinia, actually. And my dad was a cop down here. I grew up in foster homes all over. And I grew up with Mormons in Idaho. And when I come back, my mom and dad were split. So I grew up most of the rest of the time in Sioux Falls. When my kids were, I have 4 boys. When my boys were teenagers is when I first got into meth. That's my first experience with it.
How old were you then?
Like 36 or
Okay.
yeah. But I kind of did it. I went and got some for the money. We needed money at the time. And we pawned my car title, actually down here in Wagner, and we went to Sioux Falls, and that was our Christmas.
Wow.
Because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to have Christmas. And so that's how this all began. And I've been doing drugs most of the time, off and on. I did have a sobriety time of about 5 years in Pierre, South Dakota. And I was real into church, and I ended up getting sick. I have congestive heart failure and COPD and sleep apnea. And I was really sick not last year, but the last couple years before that. I actually moved to Watertown to go die by myself without my family. I mean, because I died 3 times before that. I mean, I couldn't walk from here to there, and
Wow.
I was just really sickly, and nobody thought I would make it. So I didn't want my family. Me and my boys we said goodbye twice.
Oh.
Because it was so close to it. And I just wanted peace, and just to live the way I wanted to live the rest of my days. And so I moved to Watertown, but I could not be alone. So they put me in a group home that's for mental. And I was the only one there with a sickness. And I met Micah, my husband, there. And he was actually, because I couldn't be by myself, he was actually just going to be my roommate and take care of me till I died. And so we left the group home and went and found my little puppy that was missing. One of my boys, took him and didn't give him back. And so I found him, and we ended up living together, getting married, and still together now. I guess my big thing is, well, I'll just tell you about the last year. I wanted to die in Watertown, and I started going to this Access Ministries that's on Main Street up there, and
Yeah.
it's a 9 to 4 o'clock every day, and they fed people every day at noon,
Okay.
and they have clothes and they have furniture. Everything is free.
Anything to help,
Yes. And so I started going in there.
volunteering your time, you mean, or?
Well, they do worship and
Oh, there you go. Okay.
stuff in the morning, and then they do a lesson after that, after the worship. So at 11:30, that's when it ends, and they feed, and then it's just open for the store and whatnot till 4 o'clock.
Okay.
And yeah, so I just started going there, just to listen to the sermons and do the worship. Then sometimes I just go there and pretend like I wanted some lunch there or something, but I just wanted to be around.
Just where you fit in, right?
Yeah.
It's just where you needed to be.
Yes.
So it's kind of like a moment for your spirituality. You felt your connection there. You
Yes.
just kind of,
I
or that's where you fit in, and that's where you needed to be.
Yes. And a lot of the people are homeless or alcoholics or
Or addicted.
druggies, and they're just, coming off drugs or whatever, and they go there for help.
Amen.
So that's what I started doing. I started staying. I helped in the kitchen. I cook sometimes. Right now they're remodeling, so we don't really feed the public right now. But it's gonna be better and bigger here
Oh,
in a
cool.
couple
So you're
months.
still involved with the place in Watertown?
Oh yes, I go
Oh,
every
good.
day.
Cool. Cool. That's awesome.
That's my place. If I'm not home, I'm
What
at
is it called?
Access Ministries.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually headed that way this week, and I might stop by there.
It's right on Main.
Yeah.
Our camp is Main.
Okay.
But yeah, me and my husband, we came here. We're spending the night here. Then we're going to Pier, where I moved from. And the last time a lot of people seen me, I was like dead.
Mm.
So I want to go back there, and I want to show them, that how good I'm doing,
Oh,
because
good.
I'm not healed, but medicine has, helped.
Helped.
And yeah, I just need to go back there and
Right. Well, you're in recovery and you look good. I mean, this is my first time seeing you, and to even hear your story, and now you're actually going back to places to relive and bring back your image and show them that you're alive, even when you left for Watertown because you thought
yeah.
you were just done, and
Yeah.
so that's a powerful movement all in itself. I'm very proud of you.
Thanks.
So growing up, I know you talked about a little bit about like church, and did you say Mormons and stuff? So you had God or your spirituality before drugs or alcohol?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When I did good, I done really good. Like I helped open up a teen center in Pierre through this church. I had a girls youth group through the church.
Oh, nice.
And I have 4 boys, and most of these girls were girls that I didn't like because they went with my boys, But then they ended up being like my best friends,
Okay.
And the church actually gave us the key to the van because I had Illumina, and we had to take 3 trips to get all the people up to church, all the kids.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And the boys as friends, if they spent the night on Saturday night, they knew they had to go to church. And all these little gangster boys, they'd come up and spend the night and still go to church.
Oh, good. Good. Well, we need you back here doing that still today. Round them all up.
I know. Yeah,
Sorry to cut into
those
your
were the
story.
good old days.
I know. Yeah.
But when I got mad at God for like 10 years and I just, went back to drugs, went back to dealing. Um, my boys, two of my boys were there with me. They dealt with me, and I've done drugs with two of my boys. And, it breaks my heart now thinking about it.
Right. Sure.
What kind of mom does that? Or, I thought I taught them more. And then here I was stuck in it,
Blinded
and
by it,
yeah.
and
And right now, it's just a lot of guilt. And I am at peace now. I used to be really, high strung, but now, since I'm, found God again, I'm a lot more peaceful. And I don't worry about things so much, and
Right.
I don't think about the past where I make myself feel guilty or whatever.
Right.
And right now, two of my boys one's in prison and one's in jail, all over drugs, and that breaks my heart because I did that, and maybe they would have done it without me, but I'm the first person that they were around that had drugs, and so it's pretty hard to.
Kind of live with that, or kind of,
Yeah, I feel them. I've been in prison 3 times.
wow.
So I know how it is to be locked up. And my one son just went in a couple weeks ago, and now they're rioting in the prison for their tablets. And, I don't want him to go there.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I know, and I just pray every day for them.
Amen.
I pray every day that to keep them safe and that maybe they'll find God and
Yep.
hopefully this is it for them too. There's also another place in Watertown. I have this little thing. It's called Brothers and Sisters Behind Bars, and they are open all week too, and they're also on camp, and they are a lot supporting of the drug court people or just anybody. You can walk in there too, and they
Is it
do
a
a lot.
church?
It's spiritual oriented, and they have little things that they do all throughout the day in the morning, and then they really support the drug court people and people that are on programs.
Cool.
Yeah, or people that are in jail, they'll give them, like clothes or
Something for the first time,
Yeah.
or when they're getting back out into society. So cool.
they have 2 sober houses. So
Wow. All of that in Watertown.
yeah,
Cool.
Watertown is really nice.
My daughter goes to college there, but I guess I've never even dipped into that aspect of the town. But that's cool that they have all of those resources.
Yeah,
And outlets and things for people in need. Very cool.
yeah. I started going to Foursquare Church, and probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, 5, 6 months ago. Otherwise, I would just watch the Pure Church online and didn't want to be around a lot of people. But I just go to church, I sit up in the front, and it's awesome. And I'm in a Bible study on Mondays, and I think they're all watching.
Helpful.
Yeah, they are very helpful.
Yeah.
And they all pray for me all the time and pray for us and support us. And I've been trying to quit smoking. Hence, I smoked 2 cigarettes coming over, but trying.
Just nervousness. I actually quit smoking February 25th. I never thought I ever could do that.
Yeah.
So I have hope for you. I have hope for everybody.
It was really easier to quit the drugs than it is to quit the smoking.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. I get so grumpy and
Did I hear you correctly? You said that you had quit drug use for 5 years and then kicked right back in.
yeah.
What
Yeah.
was that like for you?
Well, meth made me calm. It don't do that for some people, but it helped with my anxiety. So every time, like people say they can't live without pot because it keeps them calm.
Oh yeah.
And then that's what meth was to me. So I'm not excusing it. But when things got bad, that's what I did, And I feel really guilty for, like my boys have brought drugs down here. I brought drugs down here. And, I feel really bad
Right.
about all the drugs I brought to people,
Right.
And, I'm sorry that I did that.
Yes.
And I see what it does. I see what it does to my own kids. And, when they were on meth, they done stuff to me, and it's like, that's like the worst thing ever, and to know that I did that with other families and, was involved with their process,
Right.
I take that on a little bit too. So.
Oh, yes, for sure. But I want to encourage and remind you and inspire you to. I just want to remind you that today we stopped that. You're here today to take that back, to bring your power back, because we're not making those choices anymore, and we ask God for forgiveness and we make those amends. I mean, that's part of the 12-step program, but even you being here, sitting here, being on the show, on this live feed, because this is tough to do. This is not easy and you're doing very good. But this is a part of giving back to our communities, because we do owe amends to the people that we hurt, our children, your boys,
Yeah.
I've hurt my children. I've hurt family too, and it's just, so I'm very thankful for your positivity and always just praying for you. So you're giving
Yeah.
back, and in your stories, these stories, they do help so much, and it's awesome that you're being able to do this. So I just
Thanks.
always want to remind you that this is helping somebody.
Yeah, my son asked me, and I'm like, okay, I can't say no.
Yeah, we had him on. And it was very good, And I think these are the places, the Recovery Warrior Talk are the places where we kind of lay that shame, because we're not living in fear anymore. We're not walking with that shame. It's almost just like everything that we were wearing. Well, we chose different, today. We still choose that differently today. So what is your sobriety? How much sobriety do you have?
I relapsed. It's been a year ago. A year ago, the 15th of this month.
Mm.
So it's been
Yeah, it's really good.
yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And I don't even think about it anymore. The one thing I wanted to kind of point out too is how it affects other families and how it affected my family.
Yep.
Is when I was living in Mitchell, I had all this money, from dealing, and it was my grandson's birthday, and I had all these toys, presents, everything for him.
Right.
And my son come down and he's seen that I was high, and he left without the toys, without the presents.
Because he knew where it had come from.
Mhm.
Wow.
And I'm just like so mad,
Right.
like come back and get these presents, as if, just like, but he's the one that asked me to come here.
Oh,
So, it, does that to my heart.
yes,
whatever
very
it
good.
is.
No, I get it. Because I can feel it in mine too. Pull it in my heart right now. And everybody else is out there. They know what that means. But that is so cool because I'm glad that you bring that up because a lot of us stayed in that drug dealing place because we kept thinking, like, oh, we're helping our families. We're able to buy diapers for somebody else, or we're able to make Christmas happen, or we're going to get all these birthday presents. Like our kids are going to have, and it's just,
Yeah, exactly.
today, I would never use that kind of money on our children, right?
No.
I mean, it was just because it just has that,
We are so poor now, but we're happy.
and that's the best because every time I pray with God, I'm just like, God, don't give me more than I deserve, like, because I don't want to be that person that just misspends a dollar. Like I am so happy broke. Of course, I am poor already. I'm broke, but like I've had the best Zena, and probably you can relate to that too.
Yes.
Just living, making it by,
Yeah.
it's awesome. So I can relate with that too.
Christy, we have a couple comments here. Someone kind of asked, someone asked, just they wanted to know kind of your background and how you got involved in drugs and kind of your just slipping into addiction.
Well, like I said, I did. The first time I got drugs was for the dealing part, but I started using, and I just said it was for the money, but pretty soon I was addicted. I usually only snorted it or whatever, but my sister, she would like help me get it, and I started shooting up with her. So that was a whole new level of addiction.
How many years of addiction was that?
I would say altogether, it's been like 10 years. If I added
Of
all
using?
the in between times or whatever, the total addiction part was probably 10 years. Yeah.
Wow.
It's hard. It's hard to just try and stop because then you get so, you're already in a slow place, and then you just get more sadder and nothing's working out and you don't got money for this and you feel like crap, but I found God and that's what pulled me through, every day. I couldn't do it without Jesus.
Amen.
That's
Christy, I know I'm sorry if I can ask. You said you knew God when you were younger, and then you fell away from God. You said you got angry at God.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what led into?
Yeah, actually, that was the same year I started using, and my heart got broken by my best friends at church. Nobody asked me questions. They kind of all just, and I'm like, I forgot what I was.
I'm sorry, I was looking at Leon.
But no, I got mad at him for 10 years, and I just when I'm not in church, if I'm not with God, when I'm good, I'm good. When I'm bad, I'm really bad. So I'm finding I'm leveling out and finding my peace now. Yeah.
I think I messed you up, and I'm sorry on that part because I'm not. I was just going to ask this question. So, do you like how do I want to say this? So, when that happened, when you turned away from God, was that out of anger or like out of something that or out of heartbreak and then addiction, or addiction and then you turned away from God
No, I turned away from God
and then addiction?
yeah, yeah, like pretty much right away. I would have never thought of doing anything like that. And, I hate to say it was kind of circumstantial. I was working for this, what are they called? Landscapers. And I got laid off, and then they wouldn't give me the money. What's
That-
that called?
Your wages?
Yeah,
Or-
like when you're not working, but you get it from
Oh,
unemployment.
unemployment.
Yeah. I didn't get that.
Mhm.
So, and nobody at the church would talk to me anymore, because of something one of my sons said.
Mhm.
So it's like, they knew I was going to get the drugs. I talked to them first. We could not have Christmas, or we could go pawn this car and
And
Yeah.
make something happen, right?
yeah.
Wow.
So they were with me when the first time I ever went.
Mm.
I don't think they knew. I don't think they knew for a long time that I was using drugs,
Oh.
but I can't say that for sure.
Were your boys older at this time?
Yes, they were. They were all teenagers. They're like
Mhm.
one right after another, so they're all teenagers. And then
And you were sober and no dealing up until
yeah,
this point. Wow.
I wanted to be a juvenile addiction counselor.
Wow.
Wow.
How
I hated drugs.
what did that do to the
That's what
dynamic
I
of your
was thinking.
family? And like, I know you said your son had a time where you bought gifts and he knew it was because of the drugs.
Yeah.
So he was like, nah,
Yeah.
we're leaving, we're gone. When they found out, like, how was that for them? Like, what was that conversation?
Well, to be honest, one of my sons and my brother came to me with some money, and they wanted me to get for them.
Hmm.
And they were not streetwise. So that's when I really got into it.
Mhm.
Was with a couple of my boys and my brother. And we were pretty big in Sioux Falls for quite a few years. It was like a family thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, we'd have family day on Saturdays. And that's when nobody could be high, and we had a cookout, and my mom and everybody would come over, and we'd have the little nieces and nephews there and stuff. And, it was fun. But 8 o'clock come, and now it's down to business.
Wow.
And, my mom knew what we were doing. We were taking care of my mom and everything. And now she don't even talk to me, and I'm like, I was upset about it. I was like, after all this that I did for you, but now I'm just, I understand.
We have a question here. Someone asked a John Olson. He said, I don't know if you know who that is. Okay. We don't have goofy questions yet, like we were worried about, but who was it that eventually got you off of the drugs and pulled you out of it?
Oh,
I know you said Jesus, but I'm sure he
Um,
put people around you to help with that.
yeah. I actually got, I was going to Access Ministries, but I started dealing again. And then, how can you go to God when you're still dealing?
Mhm. Yeah.
I got high. I jumped into this car. 4 blocks later, the cops pulled us over. So I went to jail for 2 days before I got bonded out. And I just felt so much relief.
Right.
I was so glad
of
that I
getting
got,
caught, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
because then I could finally just,
Stop.
get rid of it and, do what I want to do. And that was get closer with God.
Wow.
And John Olson, he's from Access Ministries. He's also a volunteer there. He's there every day. So
Yeah.
he knows my story. And because of my health, that's why I didn't go to prison. And they put me on this 6 month of, it's called Hope Court. You got to call in every day.
Yeah.
And if they call your color, you got to go UA. For 6 months, you call in every day. And I'm off that. They put me on 5 years probation and then I got 5 years suspended. But that was by the grace of God.
I was gonna say, wow. Amen.
And they knew I was going to Access every day.
There
They
you
put
go.
me on 2 months house arrest,
Mhm.
but they still let me go to Access.
Right.
So it wasn't
you go.
really house arrest.
That
Right.
is cool though.
Yeah. So that was a good question, John Olson. He knew I forgot about that.
Yeah. It's just the nervousness here. There are things that will come to you. So I was listening to your story, and I know that you were you say that you pray for your boys now that are incarcerated. What are tactics that you do that get you through that moment to when that guilt comes and that shame piles on you and it gets heavy? What is the tactic that pushes you through that?
Praying.
Okay.
I do a lot of praying. And if I'm not at Access and they're open throughout the day, like I'll go home. I won't sit there like during the afternoon sometimes. But if I need prayer, I just hurry up and get in the car and go back there and they pray with me.
Mm.
So I do it at home and I just listen to the Bible on my phone. And I watch like all the YouTube stuff,
Yeah.
sermons, and we listen to worship music every day in our house, and that's what I do too. Listen to worship music; it calms you down.
It does. It truly does. We were just talking about that last night in one of our NA meetings when Scott Aldrink, who bless his heart, lets us use this lighthouse, this church here to get this going, and very thankful for that. But he goes, like Zena said, turn on the gospel music and start cleaning. That's what I do in the mornings. And I'm telling you, it just peels off the layers of stress or worry or overthinking.
Yeah.
So
It's still a little hard for me because I can't really do dishes because you got to bend a little bit. I can't go downstairs and stuff, and I can only like do something for like 15 minutes at a time,
okay.
and then I have to sit down and rest.
Wow.
But
You're a miracle just sitting here with us today.
That's actually one of our questions for you, Christy. Like what your health, not just from just health issues, but like from actual using and using meth and whatever else. What effects did you feel on your body, and how is your recovery from that coming as well?
Well, I'm sure that had a lot to do with, like, in Mitchell, the police and the ambulance people knew everything about me. They were my go-to people because I was always in the ER. I was always in the hospital for a while, and I was always high. I had a friend, I couldn't hardly walk, but she would pull me up her stairs so we could go up there and get high. It's like that's the only thing that made me feel like I could get out of bed.
Kind of took away the pain.
Yeah.
Got you through the.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's been times when I sat on my couch for like 6 months. I have all this fluid in me and stuff, and I can't really lean back. Like I have to lay on a wedge.
Oh, okay.
So I stayed on my couch for like 6 months, so I could just, with those pillows and stuff, so I could just
Wow.
lean, kind of lean back and stuff. And that's like meth got me off the couch, So sometimes when, I'm having a bad day or I'm down and out or whatever, sometimes those thoughts come to my head, but I just declare them out, just
Wow.
get out of me.
Yep, absolutely.
And I pray. So that's what gets me through that.
Awesome. That's what I do. So now I know I'm not crazy. I'm literally driving down the road and something will,
Oh,
Lord be with me, just right away. That's so cool because I can relate.
yeah, my husband, he will like, let's pray.
Yeah.
No matter where we're at, let's pray,
Someone actually mentioned that on here. And I don't want to impose or get too personal in your life, but I know we have your husband, Micah, in the crowd here. How has your recovery and even your backsliding, at one point, how has that affected your guys' relationship? How do you walk through your recovery together? Because I know Leon will often mention about his, about Patty and, just how she's been such a huge support in his life. And I'm over here looking at Leon in the back. He's shaking his head. Yeah. But how has Micah and you kind of navigated that? And someone had mentioned that they said, Christina, you and your husband, Micah, have made great strides this last year. Randy had that comment. So
that's his boss.
Yeah. So just kind of, if you mind elaborating on that a little bit or.
Well, just to say, Access Ministries is right here and Unclaimed Freight is right there next to it. And that's where he works. We're both on disability, but he works part-time in the warehouse there. And so they see my car at Access all the time. They know our car and sometimes he's there with me too. And he has struggled with addiction in the past. And he's doing good now. And we just, help each other and always go to Access. Always. If we're struggling or if I'm mad or upset or wanting to use, that's my goal place. And I live by it, because geez, I couldn't do it.
So we've heard a lot about Access. Can you kind of tell us when their services are, their location, and some of their ministry opportunities that they give?
Well, they are open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. But yeah, people just drop in. A lot of times I get to meet people that are, trying to
New people.
Yeah, trying to get off drugs. And, sometimes they're still not there yet. But I get to sit there and I get to talk with them. And
best feeling ever, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
And everything they do is free.
Nonprofit.
Yeah. It's just, they're just great. I don't know.
No, that's exactly. No,
Okay.
that's great. Jerry had a question. Did meth ruin your teeth? And I know people who used. And later their teeth turned black, plus problems with your nose. I don't know if that's something that you guys know about, but they said people never mention the health problems you get when someone uses.
Meth will mess up your teeth. I mean that it's horrible. It can you lose your teeth. I mean, just from excessively using or shooting. But smoking, I was a smoker and it was just as bad. But the nose thing, I'm assuming that's from snorting. I do know of somebody, and they've been like in recovery for like 10 years, but they still cannot smell. And it was almost to the point where they would have to take a medicine for something to kind of clear their nose, and then they would snort a line. They would just have that little window to like snort a line, and then it would just everything they would just close, that's how bad. And now they forever cannot smell. So there are different damages to the body that can do. I mean,
Yeah.
but I also know of some people that they wouldn't shoot up and they wouldn't necessarily smoke meth, so they always just snorted it. Their nose is fine yet, but they still have nerve damage. Like there's still nerve damage that develops within any old way that you want to use it. There is nerve damage in some of them, but
Yeah.
do you have anything to share on the teeth and the?
I have false teeth on the upper, and that's mostly from meth.
Yeah.
It kind of runs in the family, but I'm sure my mom didn't. They weren't black or whatever. There was something in the family. She just had to have hers pulled, but mine was definitely from meth. And I have no immune system, and I think
yeah.
that's because of shooting up.
Right.
So
It just weakens all the way around. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I get like a bruise or a little sore, it turns into a hole because it just,
Has a hard time healing itself.
yeah.
Yeah. Or it takes longer to
Yeah.
heal, you mean?
Oh, yeah. It takes
Yeah.
months to heal a bruise.
Right. I remember when I was in prison, I know you talk about prison and peer. When I was in prison, there's actually a lot, and they were getting younger and younger. The longer that I was in there, they were just toothless, or
Yeah.
and I was just shocked, like, man, I mean, that's actually, I mean, out here in the society and community, you see like a few people, and you might have some family members, but in there, I mean, we're in prison for drugs, and so are they. And they're coming in like 6 people deep every day, or 12, they're coming in on buses, and nobody has teeth.
Yeah.
Like everybody, like when they first come in, they're picked, they're pulled, their hair, and then, so then you just feel that like, oh man, because because when we're out here in the free world, we think like it's just us, like we can go hide out and we can be high over here in this corner. Well, when they place you and those walls in prison, then you see how bad it has affected. And then people have come from Rapid City, they've come from everywhere, to come to prison. And it's just like, it's scary, because then it just like, it really hits the heart, like, dang. So when you see them get healthy again, you just want to kind of like high five everybody, because then they fill out and then they can smile.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's healthy as they're getting fat.
But then they can smile. That's the like, because they
Healthy
walk
weight.
in and they're still just like sketched out,
Yeah.
or still just, you can just see that darkness that is still there. Like they just
Yeah.
they're like zero emotion. Like they don't know. They're just kind of, they're happy to see you, like, hey, what's up, or something. But they just and then, like, I don't know, it'd take like months or something. Then finally they can smile, they can sit down, play cards and laugh. When it's so when you see that turnaround,
Yeah.
it's just no different from out here too, like in society, when you see somebody sober up, and it's just, you can see that glow on them, and it's just so good.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is.
Behind
You
those.
can definitely tell when people actually do quit.
Yeah,
You can
they
see
can
it.
they wear it on their face and in
Yeah.
their eyes and cheeks and chins. Cheeks and chins. I'm always trying to block this part. Oh shoot.
Just show our
Is that
eyes.
camera angle right
Yeah,
there?
I need a fan, and the angle needs to be right. Just, can I lift it up here? Cut everything out. Oh, no, only do here. But then I just let go of it. I was just like, you know what? I am so happy today. I mean, and I'm sure you can relate, but being free, like breaking free from those chains of addiction.
Yeah.
Because once we broke free from that, thanks to God, then came healing in other areas of life, because then we got to find that underlying reason why we started using. So then we were able to focus on those areas and those
Yes.
wounds, and then and it doesn't happen like you just can't just heal your wound. It's an everyday, like the 12-step program. I mean, I remember reading that book. Somebody said that in one of the meetings, was she probably could read the book by heart. And unfortunately I can't. I mean, I wish I could and even understand those, but I remember one day I was reading the 12 steps and I was like, this is like a whole lifetime. Like, how am I ever going to get through this? You know, like how, and duh, you don't, you work that for the rest of your,
every day.
you work it every day. And I'm like, oh, so
Yeah.
I just get something every day from the readings. I mean, even though I have some years in sobriety, you have a year. I mean, I'm sure when you read that reading material or something, it's just like peeling back. I don't know, just growing and evolving. It's such a beautiful feeling, and breaking free from all of that is just powerful.
Yes, it is.
Christy,
Very.
can I ask a question? You said that you kind of went through some of this stuff with your boys, and from the dealing to, the using with family. And we had Henry on the show a while back, and he even actually said, "Good job, mother, proud of you." So my question for you is, how has your relationship since, becoming sober and walking in sobriety with your family and your boys been? How's the repair and even just some of the dynamic with each other?
It is getting better. Like, they are seeing, and actually, like in the last year and a half, all of my boys have actually lived with me, one at a time, with their girlfriend or wives or whatever. And my one, he was going to move up there with me, but they decided to go back to Sioux Falls. But I have another one that just came down from Minnesota, and he's stayed away from the family a lot. He does his own thing, and he's he's so smart, and he's a professional waiter, and he takes care of himself, and he's actually living with me now, and he's recognizing that, no, we don't play that on the TV anymore. We don't listen to that anymore. We don't, and he's seeing all that, and it's affecting him, so, and he's respectful. So for all my boys to, my one that's in prison, he's talking to me, and his wife, comes over. We were really sick not too long ago, and she cooked for us and brought food over, and, stuff that ain't usually a norm for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's getting
Healthy interactions with people.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And your boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
It feels good.
What a healing process.
Yeah.
To even have good communication with our children today. I mean, to turn all of that around. And what a powerful movement for Recovery Warrior Talk to have a family. I mean, a mother and a son. What a movement.
I know. It's amazing.
Like,
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Thanks for saying that.
yeah.
Junior.
Hi, Junior. Junior.
Yeah. It encompasses the whole, one of my good friends actually said that after we did the Recovery Warrior Family, is that, sometimes the family members aren't recognized enough for walking, because they're walking through addiction and recovery with the person who is going through it, and they're right there with them, whether it's, involuntary or not. But yeah, so we have another question here for you. While people are in prison for meth, does the prison offer counseling for those that were struggling with addiction?
When I was in there, they had, not this last time, but the second time, they had an intense meth program. I don't know. I don't think it's going on anymore. But that was the only time that I did treatment, was in prison. But I think, they have AA groups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They do offer a little bit of help. When you get out of prison, you're pretty much guaranteed you're going to have to go to treatment and do aftercare or something. So,
yeah. I don't quite remember in mine. I don't remember counseling, but I do remember like MRT, Sabisa, those types of classes.
Yeah.
And there was that intense meth. treatment. But I mean, even that counseling, I wish there was, like somebody that you could actually like just sit down
Yeah.
and talk about meth,
Yeah.
its effects, its withdrawals, its nightmares, it's everything about it. I wish there was somebody, a methologist, just somebody who could, somebody who could sit down and go through everything, the ups, the downs, somebody that knows about it, and then just making shit up. But that would be so cool. I mean, to just, to actually have all that.
Yeah.
I think it's so cool now today that they're having people, they're utilizing people that have overcame the addiction and pushing them into counseling,
Yeah.
and I think that they're having a better way that way.
Yeah.
So we should look into being methologists.
We should have a badge.
I want a star badge too. I'm gonna get that. We're gonna have to figure that out. So good to laugh about the craziest things. They're probably thinking, "What are these two doing?" Powerful moments.
Yeah.
So I have a question, just because I don't know, like for mine, I didn't know, like God didn't really play a part in my in my life. I guess I was more traditional. I was more, I mean, and not even barely that, like,
Yeah.
but like I found God. I decided to be with him February, or no, December. And then that was my New Year's resolution, to be like, oh, I'm gonna try something else. I deserve something. I need something, and then that's when I started going to church. But um for like you, since you did know God before addiction, when you were on your worst day of addiction, did you know where you needed to go for healing? Did you know where you needed to go to stop, like
Well,
with God? Like,
one day I was just so sick and tired, and I mean, emotionally, I was driving and I just stopped at this church that was there, and I asked this preacher to pray for me, and he didn't look like he wanted to, but he did. And about an hour later, I got picked up.
mm,
So when I was doing meth after that, like when I got back out of prison and stuff, I wouldn't pray at all because I was so scared. If I prayed, I was going back to prison, because that's what
oh,
I needed.
right.
So, yeah, even on my worst days, I did not pray ever until
Wow.
I went back to
Then,
Jesus. Yeah. Yeah.
wow.
He's very powerful.
Oh, he is. Oh, he is.
He knows what we need.
He sure does. I remember one time, in my youth, and I remember looking out this window and I was crying because it was a domestic violence situation that I was in. And I kept hanging on to that relationship because of, like, it seemed like dope was the one that would fix our relation, or we thought it did at the time. We
Yeah.
were so addicted. But anyhow, I remember looking out the window once, and it was kind of a windy day. And it was so crazy because the tree was there, and I said, God, and I was just like, God, help me, get me out of this situation. I don't care what you have to do or what's going to happen. Just get
Yeah.
me out,
Yeah.
And and I started crying, and I'm not even kidding. Like, just be like, within seconds, it like started storming, and I was like, and it just started raining, and I kept thinking, it's probably because I'm crying. And then anyway, and then I got up. Somebody came to visit, and I was just like, why, like, how you have to like push that away because family's coming or something. So, and then the sun came out, and I wiped my tears, and I was just like, what the heck? But anyway, my boyfriend that I was fighting with, he's like, we're gonna go up to the casino and eat. And so when he started his car to warm it up, the lights are like automatic.
Yeah.
And so we walked out, and I was always wanted. I was always hiding out, you know, of course we're in an addiction. We're always wanted or warrants or something, but and I walked out of the house and I just so happened to look over and here goes a cop truck, like a cop. And I was like, oh man. And it was just so happened when I looked this way, they looked right over at me too. And I was like, oh. And then my boyfriend, we get into the car and I'm like, man. And he goes, go back in the house, you know, get back into the house, you know. And I just thought, by chance, if this, you know, if he turns back around, you know, I can't. I just sat there and I was just like, this is what I asked for outside that window, literally like
Yeah.
6 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And I knew that's what it was going to take, though. I knew I had to get incarcerated. I knew it would have had to been the law
Yeah.
that was going to pull me away from addiction and get me out of where I was at.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I was like, oh, okay. So then the cop drove by. He didn't even go around the block either. He didn't hesitate. Boom. And he came right back and pulled right in front of me because we were backed up in our driveway. And I already knew, you know, Zena, you got to get out of the car. And I was thankful. I was like you, there was like that relief. And on the way to jail, because I was sitting in the back of that car, I knew I was going to piss hot. Of course, I didn't have no drugs on me, but I knew I was going to be hot, you know. And I was just looking out that window and like looking up. And I was like, thank you, Jesus, you know, and literally it just happened like within like 6 minutes of deciding, you know. So he's awesome and he works in like different ways like that, even though I needed to.
Yeah. Makes you think before you pray, though.
Well, see, and now because now that I know who God is, like, and to be able to put him in all the places he belongs in my life, where it was like, I always wondered how that happened. You know, now I can put that missing puzzle, and it was just like, you were there the whole time, like, and to feel that, you know, it's like, never again am I turning away. Yeah, he's loved us unconditionally, and yet still, and you know, it's just it's very awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I know we're winding down here, getting close to an hour. I didn't know. Would Micah? Micah, do you have anything you'd like to share in any of this? I mean, I can pass off my mic to you.
You can go here if you want.
Would you like to hop in and say a few things, please? Okay, whatever works.
Just save me some time to read that.
Okay, absolutely. Hi, Micah.
Hi, I did have a relapse about 11 months ago. I guess it was May 8th. And every day I have Christina. Every day I have Christina. I wait to wake up to, and she helps me with that. There's no way of getting to the drug with her around. It sure has helped, and I appreciate her going to Access, and I've seen her really grow.
Wow. So it's a team effort here.
Yeah.
Team effort. And can you guys share with our listeners, although it's not only a team effort between you two, what is the foundation of that team effort?
Jesus.
It's been Jesus for you guys, huh?
Yeah.
More
definitely. Yeah. You know, I went to Watertown to die and met him. He was just going to be, you know, and Jesus has been there, you know.
Yeah.
And now if one of us wants to have a slip or, you know, having a hard day, then we just tell each other and, you know, try to, well, I would go to Access but I mean, he's the one that'll just, let's pray, and he'll grab my hand and we'll pray, you know.
Micah, have you been involved with the church your whole life, or is this something that what's your walk in the faith look like? Because it's very important to Christy. What is it to you?
I grew up Jehovah's Witness, and I started going into family worship center and stuff. About last year, I got baptized there.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. We'll do an applause. We love it, man. That's great. That's absolutely great.
Yeah, that was I don't know, not a hard thing. I can't say it was a hard thing, but I never knew about Jehovah Witness, and like the first year we were together, he didn't buy me no presents for nothing, he learned, but
Yeah.
no, now he turned to, Christianity and he's baptized. And yeah, it's been great.
We actually, Zena, you were baptized a month and a half ago, February 4th. So yeah, right. Yeah. Right around almost 2 months now, 2 months ago. Kim, when were you baptized? So kind of in that same. Okay. Yeah. So right in there. So we've had a few people, that have been baptized and come through. So yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to share, Micah, before we get Zena back in?
No.
No. I do want to say, I'll read some of these for you folks. Andrew Johnson, he said, the more we tune into our relationship with God, the more we notice the little things in life. Those things that we call coincidences or chances are actually signs and gifts that are from our Lord and Savior. And we don't always get the answer to our prayers the way we want it, but they're always answered.
Yep.
That's a great way. Like I guess in response to what you were saying a little bit earlier, which that's absolutely beautiful. And so Randy had asked if you had anything to say. Randy, I don't know how to say his last name.
Oh yeah.
Schleels.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to try. Sorry, Randy, if you're listening. I don't
Shout
want
out
to
to Randy Schleisman.
There you go. You guys I can't say that. There's no way I'm going to be able to say that.
Hi,
So-
Randy.
Hey, Randy. Everything's going great down here in Wagner.
They made it down here safe. So again, Micah, thank you so much for jumping in on our show. We'll go ahead and have Zena jump back in here. So
Alrighty.
Can I just say one thing about my health real quick?
Yeah, keep talking.
Keep.
Keep going.
Well, I just wanted to say, because at the beginning I said meth was easier to quit than smoking.
Right.
Well, I'm supposed to be, I'm going to be having a weight loss surgery for my sleep apnea and my heart failure. And so I'm supposed to be like doing all this food stuff, changing up my food and all this stuff. Now I've been gaining weight because I'm trying to quit smoking. And
All right.
it's like, oh my gosh. But by the end of the year, I'm going to be cigarette free, pop free. I'm going to be skinny.
You and me both. You and me both. We're going to quit it all. We're going to break all these chains.
And still meth free. That's all I got to say.
Yes, we are. Well, thank you so much. I look forward to it. And I know that you will. I'm going to pray that you will. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for being so much fun.
Thanks.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Safe travels on your trip as well. Everything you're doing. Proud of you for going to church. I'm going to keep your boys. Everything in you in my prayers all the time. I'll be thinking about you. So
Thanks.
add on Facebook. Stay tuned in. To everything. Want to thank you guys, the audience, for tuning in with us. I know there's a lot other things you guys probably could be doing on a Friday night, and yet you stayed with us. So thanks for sticking that out with us. I want to read off some of our announcements. So reminders of the Recovery Warrior, which was on Monday, because we're going to do that every first Monday of the month, 7 p.m. And that'll be Recovery Warrior Family and YouTube Live. And that'll be with Derek. And I want to give a shout out to Lake and Nedved. That was amazing. And first men's group, April 15th. That'll be here at the Lighthouse. Who's that by? Or the men's group right here? Oh, okay. Right here at the Lighthouse. And Lighthouse NA and AA prayer group. And that's with all of us here Thursdays, 7 p.m. And want to give a big thank you to Scott Aldrink. You know what you are. You're awesome. Big shout out to you and Julie and the Lighthouse here. Thank you. Jimmy Hallam, Santee, Sue. He has Inipi. How often, Leon? Weekly? Okay, Jimmy Hallam. He's got Inipi. Big shout out to Mark's Media. Thank you, Derek. At Chunkutecha on Mondays, I have a NA meeting every Monday at 2 o'clock. Everybody's more than I do provide rides. I also do provide rides for the Thursday night NA prayer group here as well. And I do provide rides, and I can provide rides for this Recovery Warrior Talk because there is an audience. You can be a part of the audience, or you could be a speaker, better yet. I want to give a big shout out to the Fort Randall Casino, Jim Stone and their staff there. They always do the Recovery Warrior Banquet. We just had one there in March. So the next one will be in June. And that is always the first Wednesday of the month. Yeah, every 3 months. So next one will be in June. All right. I was reading a bunch of little chicken scratch out there, but it's not for us anyway. So thank you all for tuning in. God bless you all. Am I forgetting anything?
No, just
Anything to
encourage
share?
people to come to Lighthouse Church.
On Sundays?
Sundays
Amen.
at 10:15.
Come
We
hang out with
have,
us.
yeah, we a lot of, you'll be able to see Zena there, Leon,
Leon,
Kim,
Kim,
a lot of our Rihanna, Scott, myself.
Derek,
There's a lot of us
Andrea.
here that attend the church here, and we have a great circle of support, a great team, and there's not anything that should make you nervous or hesitant about coming to church. We just love hanging out.
Right.
I mean,
Doors are open for you.
yeah, usually someone brings some kind of snacks in the morning. So there's that if you want it.
There is a snack.
Yes. So yeah, that's all I wanted to mention.
All right. Thanks, you guys. Have a good evening.